Hi, I'm Andy Brown, and today we're going to continue our talk on the new product process. We finished my last video with talking about how organisations might try to change the trajectory of the market they're in. We said that one thing an organisation could try to do is maybe they could give their product sales a boost, perhaps through using a sales or a marketing campaign. And I promised that in the next session we'd look at a small change to the model that would allow us to explore under what circumstances a boost could change the trajectory of the market. And of course, under what circumstances it would make little or no difference. Here's the model that includes additions that allow us to explore how a sales boost could affect the trajectory. If you zoom into this part of the model, in the area for product 2, you can see the additions here. So, we're going to give product 2 a sales boost. What I've done is add the variable extra sales product 2. This represents the level of additional sales produced during the boost, which is probably a marketing campaign. And here's a second variable, extra sales start time. This represents the time at which the marketing campaign starts. And here's a third and final variable, extra sales duration, which represents the duration of this campaign which produces the additional sales. You'll see the effect of these variables when we run the model and start changing those variables. So, let's click the button and start the run. Next, let's move to the control panel view that I've built. And you can see here I've added in 3 additional sliders to represent the 3 variables we've just added, extra sales start time, and extra sales duration. Now, you'll see on these sliders on the other side here that product 1 and product 2 don't start off the same. Product 1 starts with an initial install base of 10,000 units. This means that product 1 will always win, unless the management of product 2 intervene in some way. And that some way is going to be this sales or marketing campaign. You can see at the moment that the marketing campaign produces extra sales of 10,000 units, and this begins at year 5 and lasts for 1 year. However, if we look at year 5, we can see that sales are around 900,000 units for product 1 and around 150,000 units for product 2. So 10,000 units isn't going to make much difference. And we can see that on the graph. Or rather, we can't see anything on the graph. So let's start by cranking up the extra sales of product 2. Let's increase the slider to 100,000 units. As we increased it, we can see a blip appear on the sales line of product 2 between year 5 and year 6. However, although it's now visible on that sales graph, it hasn't made a difference to the eventual outcome. Product 1 still wins. The only difference is it wins just a little bit later than before. If you were a shareholder or a manager in the company producing product 2, you wouldn't be happy with that result. You spent a lot of money on what was probably a very expensive marketing campaign. Getting an additional 100,000 sales probably cost you a lot of money, but your product still tanked. What about if you did that sales campaign earlier in the life cycle? Would that make any difference? Well, let's see. We'll leave the sales boost at 100,000 units, but we'll move the start of the extra sales time back from 5 years to 1 year. And now we can see it changes the outcome entirely. Once we brought that extra sales start time back to 1.8 years or earlier, the graph flipped. And then all of a sudden, product 2 dominated the market. And that flip is quite robust. We can reduce that sales boost down from 100,000 sales, and it's only when that sales boost gets down to around 50,000 that it flips back to product 1. So now, using this simple model, we've been able to give marketing, senior managers, or other important stakeholders useful information about whether an intervention, like a big expensive marketing campaign, would be effective and allow your organisation to reverse that downward trend. Of course, things don't happen in isolation, so you could easily imagine that the products of product 1 may well react to your sales campaign, and then your organisation may well react to their response, and so on. But if you build a model that represents how your market behaves, then you and your other managers, you can have far better informed discussions about the decisions you're trying to make. In the next session, we'll look at a model that includes the effect of complementary goods, which for us in software development is tremendously important. This is very important for us in software development as we are often dependent on the presence of a complementary good. For example, if the software we produce requires trained specialists, then we're very dependent upon training service providers. Typically, either our product relies on complementary goods, or our product is the complementary good of another product or service. If you've enjoyed this session, please give us a thumbs up on the link below. And if you're interested in this topic, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.